Hello, everybody. Today we have a very special guest. We have Michael, who is the brains, the 3D animator, the creator behind Lost in the Hyperverse. How you doing today, man?
Absolutely phenomenal. Good to meet you. Good to meet you.
Finally, right? Um, man, how long have you been at it for most of this series? It's been like what, like a good year, almost 2 years. Are you getting close to 2 years
Oh,
for
it's that
the
long.
Lost in the Hyperverse Backroom series?
That's a good question. Even I forget. I'm so busy with like making video after video where I'm like, wait, how long have I been doing this?
It's been a long
So
time.
yeah, I'm like, I think it should be a year. I hope, or more.
I think you're getting close to. I guess, and this will kind of go into like the other questions that I have here, but I think you're the was it the broken forgotten footage?
Yes,
Um,
that's what
that's
it's
the
all called.
first one, correct?
Yes.
Um, am I am I
Even
making
I
you
have
go
to
back and
admit it. Yes.
like, wait a minute, what did I make? Dude, I know that feeling. Oh my god. I know. That's like our conversation earlier about the latest episode. Did I watch it? Yes, I did. I just haven't posted it yet.
Oh,
So but yeah, I guess the one before that is 2 years. Did you I guess my question next would be before the Backrooms, you were making other things because you had the Cosmo stuff, which by the way, I love that shit. Uh, Growing up, I was a huge fan of, and I don't know, it really depends on how old you are, but back back in the '90s, back in the 1900s, um, there was a series of 3D animations. It was back when like people were starting to do 3D animation and like
mhm.
making, I guess, making music videos. And there was like one where it was like you would follow these like ping pong balls or something that would like bounce around and make music. They were super trippy. Like honestly, like you didn't need to be on anything to feel like you were on something while watching them. Like they were kind of out of this world, and like you had like people morphing together. But your stuff kind of it really reminded me of that because of the fact that it's out in space and it's just like it is it's out of this world and is that where your name comes from? Is the first several videos that you created?
Actually, you're close. You're almost correct. If anything, my second video, the hypersphere,
Uh huh.
that's where my name originated from. So there
Gotcha.
was,
Okay.
I think it was a song that just I really love, and I just started making animations. And after like my last year in technical college, I just decided to go into 3D, and so I just was fascinated about galaxies and anything abstract in space and whatnot. And I just heard this song. I think it was called Zero Dark 100. It's
Okay.
from a original soundtrack, and it was lost in the hypersphere. But because if you were to search the hypersphere, it's a yoga ball or something. I don't want to be called a yoga ball.
Yeah.
So so I'm like something with a universe. Like I want to create a whole universe and just started creating small stuff, which started posting only on Instagram. But then I just did it because I like just making stuff, and then it slowly turned into what it is now, just a bunch of backroom footages.
the yeah the initial the initial reception for your content must have been, oh, okay, well, I can definitely keep doing this.
Yeah, I still do these. It's just I don't know. I got more fascinated in just creating
Right.
worlds that just have a combination of horror and beauty, which is the whole genre of the series in general. Just something beautiful, but yet hauntingly beautiful. That's
Yeah,
the correct.
and you've done such a great job, and I've made this comment before. in some of my videos that your approach is, to me, it's very unique, because there's a lot. I'm not going to say everybody does it. Like, there's a lot of other creators who have made stuff for the Backrooms that is very centered around the found footage feel. Which, by the way, I I fucking love that shit. Like, that's my favorite. Like, I love that stuff. It's awesome. It's one of my top,
Same.
favorite ways of experiencing, horror stories. 100%. But like I've said before, your stuff is very stylized. You have a stylized format. I almost want to say it's
It's hard to explain that for some people saying, "Oh, it's not real." Of course, it's not supposed to be real. It's supposed to be stylized.
but
But I'm glad you were first to get it, actually.
you had people, okay, hold on one second. So, like, you had people thinking it was real, or like complaining that it
Yeah,
wasn't real, or
actually, both. Both, actually.
okay, so like recently, I've heard about this, and and other people who are creators on YouTube have told me like different things that people will constantly state, like, oh, is this real, or where did this happen? I'm not, and just being kind of confused about it. But I'm starting to like run into that. Like, I've covered the Godzilla analog horror series, which, by the way, and I haven't announced this yet, but all those videos are gone. The one that I posted was blasted by Toho Cinema, and all the unlisted ones I had 4 unlisted ones that I was going to post, and Toho Cinema, which honestly, I get it, I understand, completely blasted them, and they're blocked. Like, it's not a strike against my account, but nobody can see them, and they weren't even posted yet. So like that took away like 2 weeks worth of uploads. I'm mad, but you know what? It's okay. So I guess the first upload of 2024 is going to be the reaction that I did for Neon Springs. It'll be that one. But my God. Anyway, I'm getting into a tangent there. Got into a tangent there. I apologize. But yeah, your earlier stuff. Talk about that. I want to know what you were feeling when creating, especially the I think, what was it called? I think it's Cosmological Creations. I really enjoyed that one. And then I think there was another one that was like Pathways, or Enlightened Pathways, I think, or something.
Oh, yeah, that's also another one. Yes.
Yeah. So the kaleidoscope effect that you have going on in some of these is mind boggling. I really enjoy it. But yeah, like, can you? I guess I know it was like 2 years ago, and it's kind of hard to pick out of that time. But can you kind of give us an idea as to like what you were working on? Like, what was your goal with that? Because obviously you had your voyage and everything happening, but then the Backrooms came in, and then you started working on that. But did the space, the Cosmo arc, if you will, for your content, did you have some sort of plan? Do you still have a plan? I just want to know more about that, because to me, that's one of the more fascinating parts about your channel is knowing where everything began and what you were thinking during that time.
Well, yeah, it started off as like, if anything, very synthwave space themed, and it's just I didn't get bored of it. I still make the stuff. It's just let's just say I just never finished them, and I just got more fascinated on just creating different abstract, realistic, stylized world, which is the series, of course. But I still like doing the space theme,
Mhm.
and I might just merge the two someday, but
Dude,
that's up in the air
that would
for
be
now.
wild. That would be amazing if you did that. Oh my God. I feel like that, you know, I don't know. Like, you may have thought about this already, or but, or I don't want to I really don't like to like suggest anything, but I'm gonna say it would be really cool if you kind of like both these worlds collide, and then you can continue, because I don't know, in my head I would be thinking, hey, I have the back rooms going, but my space stuff, you know, I want to do more space stuff, but that's just me. But if you can combine both of them, that's like a good closure to the idea that I need to make more of this, the Cosmos stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
that would be really cool if you can like merge all that.
Oh no, yeah. It's the only thing is I'm slowly trying to like combine and like make the story to make to where it makes sense. Because if I were just to make a space theme one, then it won't make any sense if you understand what I mean. I just wanted to find the correct I need to connect some strings in order to combine the two. But other else than that, it should be a interesting process for say.
Yeah. Well, I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to be capable of creating something absolutely amazing with these worlds that you have created for us. I guess with like to go into the Backroom series. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of anything Backrooms, anything liminal, and you know, I'm so happy that you got out of like level 0 and started to go into pool rooms, and even like you bought you know, you brought the playtime, the playroom stuff like into the mix too, and then you had your eternal suburbia. Like you went all over the place, and that's so cool. Like I know a lot of folks really stick to level 0 and the Heathrow Hotel, which I'm so happy you went there too. um there's there's just so many other places that are possible within, you know, your series, and seeing where it's gone, or rather where it started and where it's headed to right now. I can't tell you how happy I am that you ended up in Neon Springs, because for me, like malls in general, especially during the time where when I was a child, you know, I was a mall rat. I was always like in Florida, like I was in Miami. I was a kid in
Hmm.
Miami. I would go to the malls, and it was exactly like that. I mean, I was I was a short kid, you know, and like everything just seemed absolutely gigantic to me, and all these neon lights and everything, and your Neon Springs episode just hit the mark for that. And you're able to capture that nostalgia that I have for like being a kid, you know, going into the malls and just exploring it. Now, the way that I remember it is there's a lot more people, but I think you're able to capture that solitary memory, that nostalgia of that. Um, man, I like what process you went through, and I'm gonna bounce around to different episodes here,
Yeah,
but
that's
I,
fine.
you know, since Neon Springs is fresh, it's right out of the oven. I want to talk about that one. What did you use for the inspiration for Neon Springs? Did you kind of look out for different malls that are out there, and just like the overall, like I guess like the neon aesthetic of like the 80s and early 90s?
Okay, so like just how you mentioned how I'm merging the or how I told you how I'm merging them together. Remember how I told you I had plans to just mix the two of them together.
Yeah,
This is like the starting point. So the neon springs, I added neon because if you see my previous works, they all have like one thing similar, which is the neon look, the very nostalgic uh yeah, the nostalgic synthwave or outrun genre, and so I just wanted to mix it with a type of liminal space. And for the malls, well, yeah, just a simple, basic, a few images of just malls, which I use a lot of reference. I think I don't remember a specific mall. All I know is that malls have that kind of open space. Just the they're liminal. That's all I can
Yeah.
think of, especially now that nobody goes to malls anymore, which is sad. But
And then
yeah,
you get the
mhm.
weird, and I'm sorry, you get the weird moments where like you find places where malls are just brimming with people. You
Correct.
have like I used to so there I remember seeing the mall in Texas that Kane created the Oldest View
Oh,
series over. I remember going there back in 2014, 15, and it was like
mm?
super empty. And then there was like other malls like Mall of America, or like there's even like a couple malls in Virginia and like Maryland and stuff like that that you go in and it's just packed, packed with people, and it's insane. But then you have a lot of other malls that are just they're just dead, and they're kind of like they're still trying to stay alive, and those are my favorite ones, the ones that are in their death knell, if you will, because you can experience a really shitty like food court, but then you have like an entire wing of a mall that's completely empty. All the stores are boarded up, and you can just have your Auntie Anne's pretzel and just sit down and just like relax. It's honestly, and they have like those really like stupid like massage chairs that are in the
Oh
middle. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And you can just like
yeah.
relax, and that's amazing that you were able to kind of capture that for Neon Springs. Was there a specific mall or a specific a specific region in like the, I guess it would be more Americana, if you will, the this liminal space angle for Neon Springs?
Um, well, not really. It's just a combination of just a bunch of references once you like search up empty malls. Now mix that with the pool rooms, and you got yourself Neon Springs.
Yeah.
But if like any specific one, it's hard to tell because references they just come like I just look up good references, empty malls, and whatever attracts my eye, that's the one I try to make. But to be exact, not really. But I was planning to make it very inspired by a mall near Washington. I don't know if you've seen this image, but it's the one with the yellow roof and the weird tiles on the floor and with dim lighting.
Which when you say Washington, because I've lived in both Washington State and DC, do you mean state or DC?
I think it's the Washington Mall. I think that's the name of the mall that still exists. And it's
Washington.
this one room. I wish I could find the image, but it's that one mall I want to make, but I couldn't
Oh,
make it.
you
Wait,
know
I
what?
think uh-huh.
Yes. Is that it has like the triangular
Yes,
roof in the front?
yes, yes, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been to a
Like
mall. Oh, where is this? And oh yeah, it's Washington Square Mall. Okay.
okay, so I was right on the name.
Yeah, you were right on the name. This mall is this mall abandoned or is it like half?
Oh, surprisingly, it's still alive. I think
Oh
to
wait.
this day I'm unsure, but I think it's still alive.
Washington's Washington Square Mall is in Evansville, Indiana, I think.
Uh,
Hold on.
the Washington threw me off.
Some dude named Washington decided to confuse the hell out of us. Um, let me see. Yeah, Washington Square Mall is in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. So yeah, it's in Indiana. And it's I guess it's still operational. They're open from 11 in the morning until 7. They've got a late start time and an early close. I wonder what's going on in there. Now you got me looking at this mall. I can't believe one of their what is it called, anchor stores? One of their anchor stores is Target, which is
Oh,
why what?
try to stay relevant.
I
That's
guess
what the
so. I
Chinese
don't know.
do.
Like usually it's like, Sears or J.C. Penney. You remember those, or like Macy's, but then like
Yes.
those are dying out, so they're just huge like abandoned areas of malls, and that's probably what's going on. Wow. Okay, so I didn't realize that that's where this image comes from with like the checkered floor. Is that what you're talking about?
Correct. Yes, that's the one.
That is so cool. I love that. I love that shot. And I think have you played the Complex?
Uh, I think so.
It's made it's a Backrooms like found footage style game.
Because to be honest, ever since this series started going, that's all like I've been through
Dude, I
or been
totally
working
understand
on.
that. Yeah, yeah.
And the games, as much as I want to play games just to like play it, it's been all covered with my series. So I think I've heard of it, but I'm yet to try it though. But I think I heard of it, but I'm not sure because I've seen other projects as well, just to like be fascinated to look on all of them. But I don't think I don't know which one the complex, but I can search it up
Yeah.
quickly.
If you have a moment right now, yeah, if you, I think it may have been because there's two. There's like the free one that Israel made, and then there's the second one, which was like it's the sequel, and that's the one that you would have to buy. The first one is free. I think you can get it on itch, and also I think you can get it on Steam. Yeah, you can get it on Steam. Let me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I played. Yes, I played it once. I do remember. It was that one time after work. I got and I sat down and played it. I think I played through the whole thing. It was I loved the every moment of it. I
Isn't it
really liked
great? I know that some people are like, there's not really anything going on, or like there's nothing like truly like chasing you. But you know what? Every place has every game has a place for everybody. And if some people will like it, some people will not. That's why I tell somebody, you know, reject the sense of rejection. Just do what you enjoy doing. The people who like your stuff will still like your stuff, and if somebody else doesn't like it, they can go like something else. You know what I'm saying? Um,
it.
a little bit of realism there, but it's just I'm fascinated with the idea of being able to explore these places without having to, jam my pinky on shift and run constantly. I want
Yeah.
something that I can digest. I want something that I can, and maybe it's because I'm old as fuck. I don't know, but it's just I like to just sit and observe and look and explore. And I remember there's one part of the complex where there's you go around this mall, this corner, and there's a light shining, and it's this hallway exactly. And it's just so crazy to me that like I get to go through that. So which brings me to another question. When are we going to get a Hyperverse game?
Good thing you mentioned that because I was gonna compliment on the game that it is amazing. The whole game is amazing, and I understand that they don't have these things that everyone wants to call or entities because programming it is the most difficult part.
Yeah.
I try to do it with my own. It is difficult.
I it's really interesting. Israel mentioned a while back that there's one scene where the character clips through the earth, like through the floor, and appears in the complex. That sequence of the walkie-talkie falling through the floor and bouncing. He said that was like one of the most frustrating things to recreate is having that weight. Like people think you could
Oh,
just throw an asset in there and just press play or like move it
correct.
around and record yourself. Like no, you like it's far more than that. And they said that was some of the most complex stuff. And a lot of times for most of you who are creating these things on on YouTube, a lot of you are doing this for the first time, which is
Correct.
remarkable to me. You're breaking ground for yourself, and nobody, not I would say 95% of the people who watch it will never understand and never really truly like just grasp the idea that you're learning how to create this as you're creating it, you know And that's what's
Yeah.
really, really cool. But anyway, Hyperverse game. Go. Are you going to tell us
Uh,
something or what?
no, no. If anything, I was just gonna continue that. Making a game development, it is difficult. Like I'm
Mhm.
starting it now, of course, and if anything, I'm if just in case anyone doesn't notice, but the newest one and the Returning Echoes video, both were made using the Unreal Engine 5 program.
Immediate notice. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, keep going.
And because I'm doing it in Unreal, it should obviously be a big uh with a neon sign showing that maybe this could be a game, maybe I don't know. All I know is that it is slowly becoming one, but I still have a lot to learn since it's still a new program, and it's also why I didn't post that much during the last 5 months. I think since between like Returning Echoes was like my last post in the past 5 months,
Mhm.
so there was a big gap in uploads, and I was not good on my communication on the channel, so learning a new program was already difficult enough. But at least all I could say with the game is soon. That's all I can say.
That's awesome. I'm really excited. I mean, for like, let me know first in line. I want to jump in. You know,
Oh, of
and
course.
that would be so cool to experience all of your levels, everything that you've created, and your rendition, your iteration of this series. I just, that would be so fascinating, especially Eternal Suburbia. If I could walk around in that one and just explore the different houses. Like, please hide more like agency stuff within these homes. It's so fascinating that you included that, because now you can go back and kind of. Oh, and here's another question: are you able to take your other assets that you used before and put them into Unreal?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
All the previous ones, if anything, I'm remaking. If you are seeing a pattern right now, like think of it, Returning Echoes. The name says itself. We are going back from one to the hotel, I think.
yeah,
So 1 through 7? So that's 7 variations of different levels. So
yeah.
if anything, I am remaking every single video I made, but with a twist. For example, the Neon Springs, it's the pool rooms. It's just neon mall mix.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. I'm so happy. You mixed my two favorite liminal spaces, which is the pool rooms and then malls. And I am beyond happy with that one. Speaking of pool rooms, do you remember, I don't know if you ever caught this. There was a YouTube channel called Matt Studios.
Oh, I think I remember. Yeah.
They did the pool rooms series. They haven't uploaded in a while, but I think they posted like some thing on their community tab. Um, but the reason why I'm bringing that up is, and their stuff is really good too. But as far as like communication via community tab and just communicating in general, and the process of learning and creating things for your channel and the time that it takes. And I totally understand I guess the stressors, because the gap during that time. I know what your brain is telling you. Your brain is like, you're not saying anything. That's stressful,
Mhm.
and I totally get that.
True.
But and I can relate to that, because for me, like, I came to Japan and I had all these ideas. I was like, as soon as I drop in, I'm gonna this and I'm gonna that. And then suddenly my PC was delayed being delivered by 2 months.
Oh.
Uh, the language barrier was a lot tougher than I thought it would be. And just acclimating in general, and every nuance that comes in with the idea of being in a new country, and getting acclimated to the culture here, and getting to know people, or getting used to the idea of not knowing. So like there's a lot of stuff that happens whenever people see, and I want to say this because I feel like maybe some people need to know when it comes to like content creators and the gaps of communication. Usually, whenever those are when those things are happening, your favorite content creators are definitely thinking of you, but they're
Hmm.
busy trying to figure out how to make the next thing, you know? Uh,
Yes.
and it's really important to give the
I
creators the time that they need to make the stuff that they want to make, because chances are they're creating a their series in a brand new way. Like for example, you're making it in Unreal,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks fantastic. Um,
Thank
yeah, like I can tell, when creating, these worlds and having to deal with shadows, lighting. Shadows
you.
and
Hmm.
lighting are such a pain in the ass. Um,
Yes.
and you get to the point where sometimes you'll make something, and you can I want to know the struggles from you in a moment, but you'll be making something, it'll look good, and then you watch it like a day after you've uploaded it, and you'll say like, man, that shadow is flickering way too much, like what the hell's happening? Like, I'm so pissed right now. But have you, like, because I do want to talk about that creative moment, for creators in general. I use the word creator so much. For animators or developers or anybody, um, and gaps of
Hmm.
content of uploads, and during that time, like, what are the frustrating parts of your series in general that you've run into, and you want to, I guess, bring to light, like, tell people, if you want to be open about like what you struggle with, uh
Yeah.
and when creating stuff.
If anything, the first thing you said about having that one small detail and you not liking it, you read me like a book. That's exactly how I feel when making any episode. So that's all. That's one struggle. Like, I think it's not good enough. Like, I always try to strive for better, and it's a tough process. I always want to like put better stuff. That's why every episode has to be different. It has to have something unique, new models, new textures, better lighting, better shadows, and it's a ongoing process that I just happen to just over do over and over again. But yeah, that's one struggle, and I can name many more, but that's the biggest one so
That's the
far.
biggest one. Yeah. Sorry, I had to mute myself a little bit. I had a coughing fit. I still have that. Thank you, flu. Um, the
Yeah, you're
the
good.
the shadows, and the text on the walls. How much difficulty was there? A lot of difficulty in that, because I feel like you can always reflect things on walls. You can, illuminate them from a source. And
Well,
I'm not an animator by any means, and I am trying my very best to learn more stuff on Unreal and Blender, but I have no idea what I'm doing. But t- putting text on there, like, how does that work? Because I I love the way that you have environmental storytelling, which is one of my favorite ways to experience video games, is through environmental storytelling, which is why I enjoy abandoned malls and settings like that, because nobody's going to tell
mhm,
you what the hell happened. You need to get the idea, the story, based off of what you're seeing before you, and you're able to tell the story not just through like objects and different things that are placed around the world, but then you have people who have scribbled, you know, all these directions, like Rose and our favorite Lavender, and and it's like all these things. Like, how difficult was that to get all the text on there? Because I that's a completely different thing, based, aside from like the walls or the floors. Was that hard to do, or?
well, if anything, it's different because since I'm just starting to use Unreal, if anything, it is 10 times more easier to do in Unreal than in Blender. Because in Blender, all I did was have um a transparent go to Photoshop, have a transparent plane, and just put it to the point where it's not That's where this is where the difficulty got, where you were mentioning about shadows and whatnot. Um, the the shadows on the text were viewable on my end, so I have to make it to the point where it's on the wall without having a shadow. But in Unreal, it's a one click of a button called a decal. This just automatically just puts it on the wall, and that's it. It's that simple
Really?
now. Yeah, it's so simple, but in Blender it was a nightmare to do. Like
Mm.
not to have any shadow interactions and having its transparent text be more viewable. I don't know. Blender is such a weird program to render, but it's better.
It's kind of
And
like
Unreal.
it's kind of like um getting used to like GIMP,
Yep.
and then like moving over to Photoshop, and like it does. I mean, they all have their nuances, but like I feel like also it's there's and even yeah, Blender, and then I don't know which other programs out there, but there's like the best way that I can put it is Daisy compared to like other action games. Like for Daisy, like other action games, if you want to vault over like a fence, you just press jump and jump over it,
Yep.
or it does an action. But in Daisy, you gotta like press like 15,000 different combinations of buttons to like twist your ankle, move your knee, and then like flip. I'm exaggerating, but like there's so many steps just to do a simple thing, and it's really great when you can simplify your process because that opens up your mind for so many other creative things and less frustration. So that's kind of what you're experiencing now, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Just a big change between programs. But I think right now I've gotten to a comfortable spot where I can just model new things, make new textures. Sometimes I have to even make my own just so I'm scared of the like, oh, I might get copyrighted by using this one image I found on Google. I had that where everything has to be custom made. If not, I can't live with myself like with the idea of like, oh, this is not original. I need to make it original, but it's it's a lot.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
But at the end of the day, it's worth it because I see people enjoying it, and oh, it feels good. It's a nice feeling.
Um, do you, and this is probably going to age me greatly. Do you remember DZ Discovery Zone? I don't know how long you've been in the States, but um, do you remember what DZ Discovery Zone is? Does that even bring anything to your memory at all?
I don't think. Well, I
Probably
think
not.
I heard Discovery Zone. I think that's if I'm correct, like well, I don't know. It's probably there. I'm very forgetful, especially
Well, uh, uh, when did
just like
discuss? Hold on, I'll tell you right now. DZ Discovery Zone. I mean, it was called DZ Discovery Zone, but uh, I mean, it was just called Discovery Zone. It was founded in 1989 in Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, and it was defunct in 2001. So 2000, so 22 years ago. So there's probably several of you that are watching that weren't even born at that time. I think. But DZ Discovery Zone was Playtime Palace.
okay, so I kind of was right because Discovery Zone it sounded familiar, but it's like I it was more like a uh Chuck E. Cheese in a way.
Yeah, it was the slides, the bouncy, the ball pits, the weird um iron the steel cylinders that make a slide that were really close together. So if you were wearing shorts, and remember back in the early 90s, a
Oh,
lot of us wore jean shorts as children. So like those things would pinch our skin. We would come out bleeding. It was it was brutal. It was a gauntlet. But you know, at the very end after the slide, you would run over to your parents' uh table and get a slice of really shitty pizza. It was a great time, you know. But seeing the Playtime Palace that you had, and I mentioned this when I was doing a reaction for those three. Uh, that it just reminded me of that. And you've captured that time and time again. Your series, I enjoy the mall vibes, and then all of a sudden the Playtime Palace, like a lot of people are like, oh, it's there's scary things in here, like, but do you guys actually remember what this is like? And that's the whole fun thing about liminal spaces and things like that, is that it does trigger that that sense of nostalgia for a place that you've never been to. And I think it's fascinating that a lot of people are able to feel like, man, I feel like I've been there, but I've never experienced that. I wasn't even alive when those things were around. But it's a great way to kind of capture that nostalgia. And I remember jumping into the ball pits, and I remember seeing kids like play too much after eating 2 slices of pizza and just throwing chunks and just throwing up all over the ball pit, and like knowing that if you jumped in there, it was just germs everywhere. It was a disgusting thing. It was horrible. It was horrifying. I like how I tried to say horrible and horrifying at the same time. So I don't know what I was trying to say there, but they have like these pipes, these plastic pipes in Discovery Zone that have like the little like the window orbs that you can kind of look out on, that like it would fisheye lens the whole world. So it was like you were like in an aquarium or something like that. I remember those. Those were really neat. Those areas were really cool, but half of the time, again, kids would be like really, there was like, it was weird. Like I remember one time, it was like a war movie for me. Like kids were running around, and when I was going into the pipes, I remember just running into different children who like sustained some sort of injury, and they were just kind of like, I don't know, some kids were acting like medics, like, are you okay? And then like you had other kids that were like dealing with the throw up that they just threw up on themselves. And I'm just like, what is happening? I'm just trying to crawl through here. There's like all these people are dying. It was like I said, it was like a gauntlet. It was crazy. I love it. If you can't tell, one of my favorite childhood memories was being told I'm going to Discovery Zone, and being able to experience that through Lost in the Hyperverse was awesome. I love it so much. And I love the I love the fact that your character
with the slides.
with the slides, it's it's like yes, why wouldn't you? I mean, you're here, you might as well, like it's like
Correct.
I am so lost right now. I haven't had a single bite to eat. I don't know why I'm not hungry. There's so many things, and then you explain it later on, which is cool. But like, it's like I'm not hungry. I don't know what's going on. I'm lost, but there's a slide. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go do it. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever, is seeing your character just slide down. And I was just like, woo! Like that was such a nice touch. I love that so much. It was great.
If anything, there was a scrapped animation where he was supposed to enter like one of those tubes that you were mentioning,
Oh,
the
really?
fisheye. But the thing is, animating it with like the lighting on Blender, on Eevee especially, was so bad you cannot see a thing. So I scrapped the idea entirely, which was supposed to be for the what was it? The second one. It was escaping the I don't know my own names for my videos, but I think it was the second one, which was escaping Play Palace. I think that's how it was.
The
Like make parts.
Yeah, the second one is Backrooms escaping the Play Palace. Yeah.
Play Palace. Okay, yeah, I see it. No, that was the one that the character was supposed to enter, like the tubes on the sunroom,
Hmm.
and I don't know, it didn't work. That's why I just scrapped it entirely and just made him walk normally, and that's it. But soon enough, I will return to this, make newer assets, make it look extra realistic, especially with the new stuff I've learned in Unreal,
Mm.
and hopefully one day it'll be playable.
Dude, Unreal's capable of so many, like so much, like those body cam games that have appeared, like Don't Scream and stuff like that. It's
And
like
then
what's that?
Unrecord, which was everyone's like
Unrecord. Yeah, I think it's Unrecord is like the one that kind of kicked it off, and then there's another one, Don't Scream. But Unreal 5 is the one that you're using right now, correct?
correct. Yes.
Yeah, and Unreal 5 is capable of just insane things. Like, and I don't think we've even tapped the surface at all when it comes to
No.
what this engine is capable of. And the fact that we're starting the engine off this way is I'm scared as to what will be possible later on, years from now. Um, but again, going back to like playtime and all the other rooms and stuff like that, which of these levels was your favorite to work on?
Oh. Well, this is gonna it's my favorite and my most infuriated one, which was the grassroom corridors.
Mm.
That one, that was like my favorite one, but the most headache-inducing one because of the foliage system in Blender. It was so difficult to make, and it was the video that kind of blew up out of nowhere. But it was worth it. All that
Yeah,
headache-inducing renders, and then the time for one frame, which was about for Eevee, which is about like I think 5 minutes per frame, and the video's like almost 20 minutes long.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. I had to cut a lot of corners on that video, and the fact that it came out not as I expected, and instead it looked unrealistic to me. But with Unreal, I can do it all simple, which should kind of give away like, oh, I might remake it soon. Oops.
You know, and you're talking about the grassrooms corridors
Hmm.
episode. I do remember getting almost and maybe this the whole concept. I'm always a fan of like if somebody's upgrading their their assets, their just their methods and their process, that they want to revisit old things, but that the way that they do directly correlates with their story. And I remember the grassrooms corridors for me being sort of a like a dream. It felt it really. I mean, a lot of your stuff feels like a dream, but the grassrooms corridor felt like a dream, and maybe because it's a dream, it looks different compared to everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's I enjoyed the vibe of it. I enjoyed it a lot because it felt like a dream compared to all the other ones. It almost felt like a break from the chaos, but obviously there was something after you, you know. Um,
So true.
but you know, which reminds me, the different entities. I do want to talk about them. Is
Mhm.
and you have, and I remember, was it in Grassrooms corridors that had the whiteboard, or was that Eternal? I think that was Eternal Suburbia that had the whiteboard that labeled all the entities, right?
From the previous videos, yes, that was
Okay,
the one.
okay. So my question, and that was like the biggest list at that time.
Hmm.
If you want to kind of go through, the different entities that exist throughout your series, without giving too much, because I know not everybody has watched everything. But if you kind of give us some sort of idea of the process of creating those, I guess even the inspirations for each one of the entities, if you kind of want to go through that.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, obviously it started in the first episode. I don't know. I just wanted an entity that truly kept me on edge, have a something abnormal, something horrific, which on the first video it looks horrible. My the creature I made, if you were to have at least more than 1 second, it looks bad. It's not well made. It was sloppy and just rushed because I just wanted to get it out because I think the to give it the sense of oh, I made this entire creature by myself. But with the newest one, Returning Echoes, I remade it with all the knowledge from class and whatnot. I made it in ZBrush, then painted it in Subs Painter, or Substance Painter, and then rendered it out in Unreal, and it came out 10 times better. That's why you see it um more longer, like has more camera time, because I actually properly made it rather than have it on the screen for a few seconds. That's one of them, and I think I have a name. I think it was Limskin, but there was supposed to be documents throughout the series, but as you can see, my series is going very slow. Like I want to include more stuff into
Yeah.
it, like more of the uh entities, what they originate from, which they all originate from something. But like that is something I can't say for now, because maybe I plan to give it all that information away on the game, but that's also like months away.
Yeah.
So it's like it's I have the idea and set, like I have everything like in mind. It's just execute or making it possible via videos or game. It takes a while because every video is a long process. Like,
And you're just one dude.
yep.
Like I don't know if really like I don't know if a lot of people really understand, you know. You could like one day you could just be like, tomorrow I'm gonna work on this, I don't know, this 3-headed monster. Tomorrow rolls by and suddenly there's a 5.3 earthquake that appears. It's like like life
True.
life
True.
literally comes in and smacks you in the face. um I Speaking of earthquakes, it didn't
Oh,
it shook my place pretty
yeah, I heard
well.
the news. Like, the Japan earthquake. It was like small,
Well,
and I heard.
it was small. It was smaller where I was, but
Mhm.
it was the weirdest thing because I've experienced earthquakes before. It's usually like, you got your shakes happening, but this one felt like a wave. It was,
Hmm.
I thought I thought I was about to faint. Like, I was like, what's wrong? Why am I feeling this like motion sickness? I was like, what's going on? You know, and it was the earthquake. Um, and then my bookcase fell on me. And then, and then, um,
I'm
my,
scared.
my PS5, did not make it. uh,
Oh.
uh, because it slid. I even had it guarded and everything, but it still slid off and it's gone. I had some like my camera took a hit, so I actually had to replace my camera um, with an older camera. But again, that's very very minimal, and the getting banged up by the bookcase and stuff like that. But I mean, that was just from like things shaking around, but it wasn't too bad, you know. But everybody in the western coast over by Noto, they got hit with, it was like a 7.8, and then they had some tsunami waves come in too. There was like 40 something people that died over there.
Oh.
And then like countless others without power or homes. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm lucky. I feel blessed that that was the extent of what I had to deal with. I can't imagine what some of my friends are having to deal with over there, um,
Mhm.
but it's just like life just happens.
True.
So take your time with what you're making. Take your time with your creatures, because they're, even if your first one is one that you're not too proud of, you can look at it right now. You'd be like, I don't really like that guy. If somebody pauses it, it's gonna look weird. I'll tell you right now. I paused it and made it into a thumbnail, and it looked great. So you gotta be nicer to yourself, Michael. Um, but I understand being critical of your work. That that fuels your quality. you know but be nice to yourself always, but still, always be critical about what you do, but give yourself the patience that you extend to others is kind of like, my advice there. But the first monster, the first entity looks fantastic. I love it. The pool rooms one was, god, I that thing was so scary.
I think I named it. Well, like I said, this is. It's like kind of spoilers or kind of not. I mean, it's a name, but now I have a name for it. It's a strange name, but it's Phantom Belith, or if that's the way I pronounced it,
Gotcha.
Phantom Belith. Or I have its origins, but I don't have them right now,
Gotcha.
and I wish to have a document real soon or introduce it properly. But yeah, that if anything, same thing or same scenario with the returning echoes. It is on the newest one, and you get to actually see the thing in full
In
quality.
full quality. Yeah.
Yes,
What a
that
reveal.
one.
I love how like when you
Mhm.
approach it, it's just, hey, you found me. Like, and dude, it is did you upgrade the model from the pool rooms exit?
Yes, yes,
Because honestly, the pool rooms, when I saw that, I was just like, that is not the same dude from 1997. Uh, what is that thing? It looks like to me. How did maybe I mentioned this in my reaction. I don't remember, but I called it almost like a lich. Like it looked like this undead lich. And when you say the word phantom, for me, I was like, that's pretty spot on. Um, it's got like the drapey. I don't know if those are tendrils or like almost like it's like, is that part of its skin? And it's like a almost like a dress in a way, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's tendrils. It's a mixture of just flesh and wires.
I love it.
And they're all connected. Let's just say they are all connected. They all originate from the wires, the weird fleshy stuff that you see on no, yeah, every video so far I
Yeah,
made
that
has been included.
the constant that what was it? The I think in Suburbia the the whiteboard labels that, hey, this stuff is everywhere. We don't know what to call it. It's like
Yeah,
to me, like
it's
at
an
first I was like, it's the symbiote. It's just everywhere.
yeah.
Like I don't. It's just taking over the entire place. Yeah, like I want to know more, but I know that we got to be patient about it. Um, it's incredible. To see the evolution of the series and the different monsters that are in it. And so you've got we're wrapping into from Neon Springs. You've got a connection to pool rooms, and then you got
Hmm.
the grass rooms corridors, which is like the dream one that we just talked about. The entity in there. Can you give us some more information about that one? Because that one was like pretty far away. And was that entity like more well grounded to like the earthy tone of that entire uh video, or like what is it made out of? What is it? I guess this
Uh,
is the question.
which one? The ones on the my old pool rooms video or the newest
No,
one?
no, sorry. The in the grass rooms corridor.
Oh, grass
I
room.
think in grass room corridors, it appears towards the end. Like you've got a lot of exploration in that one, right? And then it
Hmm.
appears on towards the end, or is that in Infinite Gardens?
If
Wait a
anything, they're
minute.
the same.
I think
The
grass.
Infinite Gardens. Uh huh.
I think in grass rooms corridors, it appears in like the skyscraper in the distance. Like he's like
Yeah.
looking. He's looking out over the clouds, and you see it like walking around.
Yes, yes, that's
That
the one.
thing. What is that? Like, do you have a name for that one?
Not yet, apparently. But let's just say it's super, super similar to the first one, the limb skin one, the
Okay.
or the skinwalker or the chicken skin or
The,
the angel that can't fly.
I think I did call it like chicken
Yeah,
wing. Like I don't know.
yeah, the chicken wing.
Dude, it's creepy though. Like even if it's called chicken wing, like I don't want to meet that thing. I love the concept of like the lighting flickering anytime it was gonna appear. So like anytime there was like lighting that was like flickering in the series, I would be like, oh shit. It's chicken wing or
It's about
something is around here, you know. And the what was it the phantom from pool rooms, that one had more of like a groaning sound, right? Like
Hmm.
it was like a like I don't it was like more phantom. Can I recreate that with my I think I can. Hold on one second. No, I'm not going to do that right now. Never mind. I was I don't know. It's going to No, that's not good enough. Never mind. That just sounded like a phantom cow. I don't know what
It
that
was
was.
close. It's close. It's close.
I don't know. Maybe I can be the next Phantom. I don't know. But dude, okay. So and now, so for the first several um I guess the first 5 was
Oh,
was was Rose already, cuz Rose is like a crayon color
mhm.
is like the pink, the rose color, correct? Like all the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
If anything, she was the first. Like the idea to give me like, oh, like what does like the fact that you mentioned colors. Rosemary was the first to have a color represents this character, and because of her, that's why I started like every color is on every quote unquote conscience and entity. And so far, Rosemary and Lavender are the only ones with the crayon, and the clown too. But because he became what he is now, he is kind of up uh, uh, blue is now up for grabs. All I know is that he used to write, but now if you were to see the first video, the Playtime Palace, and then escaping the Playtime Palace, the clown in the beginning was he wrote the messages, and as you progress during the exploration, you see how he was going more insane, and then he saw the wires, he interact with it, and then became what he was or he is now, with no mouth, no sense of hearing, no sense of seeing, just pure, um, an absolute anomaly, just there
That
lingering around.
That was so awesome. I remember watching that and just being like, we're seeing this person like slowly losing their grip, and then suddenly it's like, I don't need to see, I don't need to hear, I don't need to talk and like or anything. And it's just like ripping these pieces from their face out and becoming what we saw, right?
Yes,
Oh my god. I love it.
I can only show so much. Like everything has to be storytelling it that way because if I were to like animate every single detail, demonetized.
That would take you forever, but and I think many people would agree with me here. I enjoy the way that you told that series, because here's the thing, from your point of view, you're experiencing what you are experiencing,
Hmm.
and there's clearly other people who have been subjected to this nightmare and have not survived, and
Correct.
you're able to showcase that story. The fact that you're able to kick off that feeling of sonder, thinking about other people's lives in a solitary world like this is phenomenal. Like usually it's just you and the entities in these places,
Mhm.
but now you're having to deal with the aftermath of somebody not surviving, getting as far as you have. I guess Rose has been trying to help anybody who gets through, right? For the most part.
Yes, and so far the cameraman's the only one who made it this far, which is why in the recent one he was spared. He was supposed to be a threat, but then making it this far, this
Yeah.
deep down the my series, it's like somehow
I thought he
the
was dead. I was like, "Oh, that's the end of the series. He's done." But then
I mean
there he
yeah,
is
I was
again.
gonna put this in the CCC or the custom caption, the custom closed captions, how I call it.
Yeah.
I was gonna put that he was spared not because of what was it? I like how people call it plot armor, but no, that's not the intention. But I started laughing when I hear plot armor. I'm like, okay, accurate. I can't blame it. It's kind of true. No, but since he lasted the longest, he kind of was their only hope, and because um it's hard to tell because the black even I get confused on my own stuff, but the black writing should be a mixture of some entities and people. but it's hard to tell because it had a grayish color, but the render came out as black. So
I
that's the
gotcha.
confusion. That's a bad, my bad on my end. I
All good. All good. I had this question. We were just talking about, the plot armor. But
Oh yeah.
but um oh, I know.
Yeah, they just moved him
He,
to destroying what I call the spawn, which is the that this weird twisted um
the
anomaly.
amalgamation, that
Yeah,
big mass of like arms and legs, pretty much, right?
yeah,
Is that what that was?
just arms and a bunch of heads. It's a mixture. It's like their spawn. That's where they spawn out of, and he needs to find a way to destroy it
Gotcha.
because in some way they're hurting, and they have conscience. They all have, but I don't know. I'll try to make the story more clearly said without too much talking, because that's one thing I don't want to have verbal talking that much. I want to have that challenge that, oh, it needs to be environment storytelling, not
Hmm.
talking. That'll make
Yeah.
the less challenging for me, and I want a challenge. That's why he doesn't talk that much.
And also, I mean, it is a great challenge. And it's, I think some of the best stories out there are the ones that if you remove all the conversations and you can
Hmm.
still get the story, then that's a perfect story for me. And you're able to tell your stories without, you know, a single word for the most part. Everything's written, or everything is through, environmental storytelling, which is again one of my favorite things when it comes to video games. That's why I like open world games. And I like that. So the the armor that I was talking about was, and I wanted to address this because I made that mistake. During, I think it was Returning Echoes, when Neon Springs is first debuted at the very end. Um, everybody, everybody was talking to me, or everybody in the comments was saying, in the reaction, uh, that dude just fell down, and I'm just
Oh,
like, no, it's not him. It's the camera.
yes, yes, that's the one. He just dropped the camera, and he just went downstairs normally. The camera is what has fallen. I think I put it on my CCC just to make sure, but yeah, he did not fall down. It was just the camera. After
Yeah,
all, the whole point of view is the camera. If
yeah,
he would have fallen down, you would have heard a thump, and he would have not survived.
yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, it was just the
at
camera that
first, yeah,
fell.
like when I first watched it, and even my reaction, I was like, did he just fall? Like, did this dude just take like a big hit, and is he okay? Like, but then I think somebody actually went into my comments and said, no, you had said that the camera fell, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense. So anytime somebody mentioned something, I would immediately comment. It's like, it was actually the camera. It was confirmed by by Michael. It's like, it's confirmed. Uh, it wasn't him. Don't worry. This guy's not made of
He's
steel or
fine.
whatever. Um, but I was like, dang, I was like, huh? Like, did he fall? Um, but we've got this ongoing. Uh, it's like a little bit of a joke in our community that we talk about how the cameraman is always looking behind him, like a like a
Oh,
like a lot. we're like we're just like what was it, the one comment I made once? I was saying, if the cameraman just looks forward and looks for Rose's, like, Rosemary's text, maybe they won't find these monsters that are always behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh,
I feel like a lot of these entities are just, I can only attack him if he looks behind him. And he looks behind him like himself all the time. I thought it was so funny. I was like, but to me it adds to, because I think it's good to add a level of frustration for the viewer. Uh because if the cameraman aces the entire level without any sort of issue or any sort of paranoia, it's not real to me. If I
Mm.
was in his shoes, if I was in their shoes, I would be looking behind me, to the side of me, above me now, below me, like constantly.
Uh,
With the exception of the Playtime Palace, I think that's where I would die. I think like in the series, if I were to go through it and then as soon as I hit the Playtime Palace, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay here. Like I don't, and then the clown is just gonna just gank me. It's over. But Rosemary. So Rosemary's Rooms. Obviously, that's where. Well, Rosemary made her debut in Eternal Suburbia, right?
correct. Yes.
Um, which, by the way, those entities were fantastic. I love the idea of them of the mannequins. They're all entities, right? Every single one of
Yes.
them. Or okay,
Yes.
I wasn't sure if it was one thing controlling them, or maybe that's too much. I don't know. Like
I don't know.
are they
If
all
anything, yes, they're all connected.
okay
They all originate in the wires.
in the
But
wires?
how is that could be explained later.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, so the official name for the symbiote that I used to call it is the wires, correct?
Correct.
Okay, it's such a cool. I love every reveal for it, and I'm bouncing around on different areas here, but I love the reveal for those areas, which usually it's like you open it up, it's like a big church area or something, a big corridor, and then you have like everything is just floating. That it's like
Oh.
yeah, it's so cool. I love that.
I think it's those rooms, the ones that where things float and all of that, they're all anomaly rooms, or that's how they call it. The research people, the APRF,
Yeah,
they all classify it as an anomaly room. And wires, it's like I think an acronym, WIRE, capitalized with dots in between. They all represent something, but that even I don't know that yet.
yeah. Still trying to figure it out. I mean, that's
Yep.
what you're at least telling us right now. But like, uh, um, for Rosemary, what was the inspiration for that whole entire? I wasn't familiar with the levels that were represented within Rosemary's Room. Can you kind of give us some sort of like backstory to the creation of Rosemary's Rooms, Kitty level 974, I believe, or something?
Yeah. To begin with, Rosemary in general, if anything, it was just it all started with a model I never used. I had that model to use like as reference, and then it was just a basic model, and then I decided to I think I got inspired by the what they call it, the angels, the angel statues from a TV show. I forgot the name about. It was like
Are you talking about
the
Doctor Who?
yes, that's the
Yeah,
one.
you talking? Yeah. Doctor Who. Yeah,
Like obvious. That I think that by now that should be like a big giveaway where I got the inspiration from.
gotcha.
And then it makes sense because neighbors. That's their entity name, just neighbors. And just her design in general, I just wanted to make it look innocent. And the most anything innocent thing I can think of is like, oh, it's just a small child that with a faceless child that's just trying to guide you. And I put no thought into it, only to become my most recommended entity to show up on every video. And I was not expecting that. She was supposed to be like, entity. There you go. There's an entity.
Yeah,
Now it's like a very important. She's now a big important part of like these series now.
yeah.
Only to begin with, she was just supposed to be a basic entity just to help you, and that's it. And
And
then
like that was the idea of since level 94.
and that's
Because
uh
level 94 was like the one that exploded.
yeah,
Yeah. Um,
that I just wanted to redefine like I wanted to add more story, more APRF story. Like there's an actual story behind all of this. And then after that, you can see I kind of got lazy over the videos. Now that I'm looking at it, I got a little lazy. It's not like back then. I think it was the Infinite Gardens, and then Eternal Suburbia. Those were the ones with heavy lore on the researchers. But then I think the last one being the Play Palace, the first one, I just almost stopped using them entirely. Not because I didn't want to use them, it's because um I was still trying to make it the story polished, because having a story and then animating and then just creating the characters,
Yeah.
it's already a lot of work.
Would you?
That's why uh-huh.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was also gonna say a lot of people really point out, why don't we see any of the researchers? Um Two answers. One, I don't it's because bad timing. Two, they're difficult to animate.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why.
No, I get it, man. I get it. So wait, so would you consider Level Fun as like almost like a filler episode?
Um I
I
mean,
wouldn't see when you say things like I was lazy. I don't think so because like, are you saying that you were
oh,
you were feeling lazy for during like Rosemary's Rooms or like Playtime Palace,
if anything, that is like one of my bad pet peeves, is that I always call myself lazy, but in
bro?
reality, I
Far
put
from it.
more effort. That is like, if anything, I appreciate a lot of other people's work, but I see my work, no, needs to do better. I'm very, very strict on my own work, but when it comes to other people, I love their work. I
Story of
am
my
the
life.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's I have that weird, strange feeling that I have, that
yeah,
it's always I need to do better because these other people do better than me, and that if anything, that's my motive.
yeah,
Like, I need to strive to be just like them.
yeah. If not better, just strive
That's a,
better
yeah.
in your own way, not a bash on their creation or anything like that, but you
I
definitely
no.
your angle is a very positive
Oh yeah.
critical angle, and I definitely appreciate that. That's really good. You see other people, hey, they're better at animating than I am. How can I do that? And you're learning on your own. That's really really important. That's really really important. But yeah, I think Rosemary's Ruins was like the first for me. It was like the first jump scare because I don't think your series was jump scare heavy. Your
No.
series never had jump scares, and then suddenly you started. Suddenly you hit me with one. I think it was Rosemary's Room when the
Yep.
that's actually it's Lavender, right? That is in control of that of the clown, right?
Correct. Uh, the jester or
The
clown
gesture.
is the one next to, yes. I mean,
Okay,
it's the same thing, kind of. They
because
look similar.
yeah, you have that's the one that's hiding inside of like the little crib in the beginning that kind of looks at you, but
Hmm.
that's Lavender because but it used to be, and it's been a while since I watched it, but it used to be called something else, and it used to be their friends, right?
Luna.
But they all three of them used to be friends, and then Lavender got jealous and whatever, and
Yep.
killed and basically absorbed that form in a way to manipulate people and cause chaos, I guess.
Yeah. If
Okay.
anything, it was Luna, the name Luna, and I don't know if
Luna
that's
was the name
necessarily, yes.
of the gesture. Yes, that's what it was. Thank you.
So, fun fact, it's an actual real doll. I don't know who
Get out.
actually made it, but I'm kind of scared to use it again due to, like, I don't want to get like claims that, oh, I made this, but it's a real doll. Like, I got it from, I think I think a garage sale, and it was just I found it there, and they needed inspiration for something creepy, and it had a hat, but I don't know. I just found it recently when making the series, and I wanted more inspiration for more entities. And this doll is actually a 3D scan of the doll that I have somewhere around this room, but it's an actual real doll that I just 3D scanned and rigged. But I don't know where it's originally from, but I know that it exists in this world somewhere.
Really?
Yes.
So wait. So you purchased so you this was an actual doll that you held in your hands
Yes.
and you 3D scanned it and put it
Correct.
into My God, it must have been a really old like doll. I mentioned during my reaction to it, I talked about it and how it reminded me a lot of some of the dolls that like my grandmother had, where it's like a lot of old, you know, a lot of these older dolls were like ceramic heads and like cloth
Correct.
bodies. They're like
That's
super.
exactly. Yep.
That's what it was, right? And I don't
Correct.
know.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I don't know if that's like a just like a Hispanic thing. Like I don't know. Like my grandmother had a bunch of those, and they were like creepy as hell. Like I hated
No,
them.
same. Same.
Yeah, I
That's why I used it for its advantage. Like it was creepy. Let's use it then.
it's so scary. Uh, Abuela with her weird fucking dolls and Los Santos scattered all over. You know, you got Jesus on one end, and then you got
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
you got
Accurate. Accurate.
you got your portrait of Jesus, and then you got your candles, and then you got the creepy dolls and the was it the couch with the plastic. I don't know if that was a thing for your abuelas and abuelos, but like
Yes. Yes. Actually.
dude, I hated that. Like I remember visiting them and sitting down and like they had that protective thick ass like plastic on the couches, which like
Yeah.
is it that's a whole entire memory too. Like I've seen some liminal spaces have like those couches with the plastic covering on them, and I'm just like, man, that is deep like lore for my childhood, and I cannot believe somebody just remade that. You should make that. You should make that. I want to
Oh
see.
no.
I want to see you make that. To be honest with you, like,
If anything, the Rosemary, like I said, every level you probably seen so far in my series will be remade, and that's the one I will remake. I'm excited to like remake it. I'm sure I'm gonna use some same assets, but the one that you just described, if anything, I'm gonna add more rooms and render time should be faster. So,
hmm.
oof, I'm already excited just thinking of so many ideas to do with that room specifically, like the plastic covered chairs and then the very dusty curtains and then that one picture of Jesus like you mentioned. It's all good
Can you?
ideas
It's
now that
gotta
you
be.
mentioned.
It's gotta be almost Jesus, but like it's gotta be like something else, but almost Jesus. That would be amazing. I would. Did you like? I don't know. Like if I was in your shoes, like I'd make a whole nother level where like one of the rooms you open it and then like you definitely have like bachata playing and your mother is cleaning the house and you've got fabuloso smells like all over the place and she hands you a mop and you gotta like clean the kitchen or something like that. Or maybe you can like like I don't know. That's way too like deep Hispanic lore there, but maybe you can make one of the entities as like a chancla or something.
If anything, what if, because remember, people like a humanoid, I can like the idea you kind of gave me is like, what if I made that exact room using the faceless neighbor entities? Like I make a custom like entity of a faceling or however you call those
That
neighbors,
would be
and then
wild.
have them like brooming, but only when you're not looking. They move.
Oh man, see that's good stuff. The Doctor Who like Weeping Angels stuff that you got going on, or this idea that'll be, I God, there's just something about entities that follow you when you're not looking or move when you're not looking, and that's why I always thought like the concept of Toy Story was just absolute nightmare fuel. Like I know that the story is cute, but they're definitely doing things when you're not looking.
Yes.
It's just like no, like I don't want that. That's really creepy. But I know that many people would enjoy that. To be honest with you, that would be so cool. The it and I'm trying to remember now. So and I'm gonna go back to the storytelling of the person that lost their mind. I do remember somebody in my comments stating that person was actually the same clown gesture from Rosemary, and I was like, I don't think so. I think that's somebody from the agency, right? That slowly lost their mind, or was that just a random person?
Oh, you meant the blue writings on the Playtime Palace,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh no, they're separate. The clown, like the clown with the distorted face, that's the one who wrote it.
Which okay, which is the that is what that person turned into.
Yep.
Okay, I just that's what I was able to infer. Like, so okay, I just wanted to make sure that I was right on that because I was like, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty straightforward for me that is, and that's a person that belongs to, and what's the acronym for the
Hmm.
for the series?
Acronym
Or
as in.
excuse me. Hold on, my audio is being weird. Hold on, let me fix that. What's the agency that's in the series right now?
Oh, the agency. It's APRF.
APRF stands for.
Uh, if I remember correctly, it was. I promise you, I remember. I remember. Um, Alternate
uh
Phenomena Research Facility.
Okay, there you go. Okay, cool. So that
And it should.
is
Mhm.
so the person that turned into that distorted clown was a member of APRF, correct?
If anything, the clown's just from someone who just
Stumbled in.
got there. Got stumbled in. He is
Okay,
like
okay. So
a
that's
random person. Yep.
that's even worse. I feel so they had no idea what the hell was going on.
Correct. That's why he went crazy over the repeating music, the insane saturated colors,
Yeah.
the musty air, all of that just after there for a long time. It takes a toll on them, and of course he wanted a wish and the wires granted him a wish, but not the way he expected. And he became what he is now. A lingering clown that forever just lingers or wanders around. He's just stuck there forever.
It's kind of like a
But he
monkey. Like it's kind of like a monkey's
Yep.
paw wish
Yep.
for
Yep.
what happened. Okay,
Eh,
man, what a. I feel sorry for him. That's so sad. That's so sad. Well, hopefully we'll see him again. Well, maybe not. I feel like he's just kind of stuck in Play Palace. He's just an entity that roams about in that place. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, I am remaking every single one, and if the returning echoes, you see how you got rewind to the very beginning.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
how
I do remember. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the how you know how every at least in my series, the every entity has a unique ability, and well, the neighbors or the facelings or the statue, oh, however you want to call them, uh, those they're not lethal. If anything, you touch them, you just go back to the very first level, which is my version of level 0. That's the only lethal part is that you just have to start from the beginning. And Rosemary has the same ability, which is why you can't have any contact with her. But because Lavender, I think it was on my um the end of the liminal hotel footage and the beginning of Returning Echoes, you kind of find this weird safe space of like a pink petal palace, like a very Roman-ish vintage look filled with a bunch of pink flowers. That was supposed to be a trap, and it was. And so um because Lavender trapped you by acting like Rosemary, she had no choice but to send you to the very beginning. And that's why we're stuck into the well, we went to act to the beginning and to Returning Echoes, and then now we're in Neon Springs, which is still part of the pool rooms. Only it's like a different section of it.
Okay, so it's starting to click for me. I totally understand where you're going with this, but it is a pretty good realization for me at this point that when you said you're going to revisit, you're already doing that. You definitely snuck that in now, and you're truly returning. So returning echoes is kind of like the sign. Hey, I'm going back to the beginning, and but you're definitely not just like, hey, it's a reboot. Um, it's a return, yes, but
Hmm.
you are things are starting to like mix together. Like
Correct.
level 0 and pool rooms are now intermingled in that first one because there's all that water.
Yeah.
So, but then also the pool rooms is kind of merging into the Neon Springs as
Correct.
well.
Yes.
Um, but again, the Neon Springs is a brand new place. So I love the way that you're doing this. It's not just like a return to these places, but you're still implementing new parts or new levels into it even with this. And it's the I guess right now there's a lot of chaos happening.
Yeah, it's expansion if you think about it. It's
What's
still
that
the
again?
same.
Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, it's think of it as like an expansion. Like it has the same like vibe to it, but it's just an expansion. Like you have the same texture. I'm using the same texture as the pool rooms one, my first pool room video,
Yeah,
and the same textures with the returning echoes is the same textures as the what was it, the broken forgotten footage, which is the first video I made.
yeah,
It is I we're going a circle, but if you were to remember from the returning echoes, it's been there the entire time. The returning echoes, we just went back and we went to the right side of the wires. You know how we're supposed to enter the hole to enter the pool rooms.
that's
Apparently, you
right.
have to make a right, and there was still more to the place. And then you found another version of the pool rooms, but it's still the pool rooms after all.
That's correct. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. So it is still the pool rooms, but it's Neon Springs. Okay, gotcha. Okay. That's God. So now I'm starting to look, at all this right now, and I cannot wait for Eternal Suburbia to be again. And I know a lot of people probably waiting for that one too. That one's I think that one's your most popular one, right?
Uh, um, yeah, it's my most popular one,
Yeah.
the Eternal Suburbia.
Yeah, everybody really digs that. That thumbnail is really good too. Um, yeah, and a lot of people are just probably would they would love to see that. And if it almost seems like the pool rooms is kind of like, I mean, water takes place in like water just gets everywhere. You can't really stop water. So like, I guess
Correct.
pool rooms is starting to kind of like flood into everything at this point. So if Eternal Suburbia's got some flooding going on, that's going to be really cool to see because you're the and I made this comment before, but I know when shit's about to go down when cameraman encounters a long hallway, it's time to run.
Oh,
Or like things start swirling out of place. It's like, oh, we're getting to the end game here. And like I think Eternal Suburbia kind of like cemented that because of that. Dude, that was so wild seeing like all the cars floating in the houses.
oh,
That was so cool. I really enjoyed that. And I
the
can
only thing. Uh-huh.
go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing I regret on that video is not having that like moment of him looking at that event have it more longer, because I think he only looked at it for a fraction of a second and that's it. He never really looked at it thoroughly. It was just a quick look and next one. That's my one mistake I regret doing, not having more camera time on that whole interesting anomaly location.
Well, now you can recreate it again, and it's going to be 10 times better than it
Yes,
already was.
I
And you
hope.
can definitely revisit all that stuff. Oh man, I can't wait to see what's in store. But so you're actively working on the next episode. And if correct me though, if this is incorrect here, but um, it would be this would in fact be part two of like the sort of like a pool rooms exit. If you don't want to give too much away, that's fine.
No, no, I get it. I get it. No,
I'm
because
just
I mean, it is still early. Like it could be,
it could be
but
okay. I'm not. I'm
uh,
I again I don't want to put
That'd be
any
fun.
ideas out there or anything like that, but I can't wait to say. I'm trying to make the connection here myself. I think your series is like one of those series that I've been really enjoying just sitting back and just watching it unfold and not trying to theorize that much at all, like aside from like just how it makes me feel whenever I watch it. But I feel like this is like a series where I don't sit down and try to make a video out of like my speculations as to where things are going to head. Like, I don't know, I might start doing that. But I've just been enjoying the ride all the way through, man. It's just been a blast. And to see how much you've improved, even within like the old engines that that you were using, you still like I remember seeing the shift from your camera, the movements from
Uh-huh.
being not so human like to dang, like, okay, this feels like somebody's actually holding a camera, you know? So you're actively getting better and better in all those things. Um yeah, it's been phenomenal to see the evolution of your series and you as an animator. And I can't wait to see what's coming up next, man.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so I guess this would be a great time for us to kind of like wrap up here. Um, if there's anything that you want to tell your community regarding your series or uh, where it's headed to, or anything, if you want to like promote any projects that you're working on right now, like I would love for you to let us know, what's in store for us. Or yeah, I know you have a Patreon and stuff like that. If you want to talk about that too.
Oh, like so far, just I'm I'm more than happy just to, yeah. I really don't have that much in store. I try to like, have be more communicative, and uh, everything's still a work in progress.
Mhm.
So uh, just
Your
look
answer is
forward to
very
part
similar.
2.
Your answer is very similar to mine when somebody's like, "Hey, can you promote yourself real quick?" And I immediately fucking shut down. I'm like, there is a
Yes.
no. I don't want to like I don't want to I can't do it. I've God, when I went, so like I showed my photography at a art gallery in Tokyo. And
Hmm.
that was like the first time I ever done that before in my entire life. I've never showcased my art in that way. I've played music before and stuff, but I haven't shown art from the soul, like that. And the fact that it's a brand new form of a creative outlet for me. Like, I've always enjoyed photography, but I've never really considered myself a photographer. But now I'm working on photography. I'm working on a series and a short film, and it's just like one of those things where I didn't expect myself to do that. But man, when I was at that gallery and the gallery owner was like trying to introduce me to everybody, I was definitely not in front of the crowd. I was like way in the back, so he couldn't find me. And I let him, I let him suffer as he tried to find me. I'm like, I just, I'm like, I eventually I was like, here, like, and then and he was like, can you go next to your picture? I'm like, yeah, sure, like, like, so like I went over there, like I don't know, like I just, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of being able to communicate with my community through just the work that I'm creating. I'm not really big on like, hey, this is what and I I'm really happy that I have people who support me the way that they do, either through views or even like through Patreon or
Hmm.
things like that. But I'm really happy about that, and you should also be very, I know you are very happy about that, but you should also be very proud that there's people that want to take that step with you in your journey. But I do understand, and it might be like our us being Hispanic and and everything like that, but like um it might be something related to that our upbringing. We don't want to be like, look at me, but
Yeah.
it's definitely like a humble approach. So I totally
Yes.
understand
Yes.
your response to that, but I think more or less what I would want you to tell people is, I know there's a, and I've done this with other creators too. There's other people that watch you that are inspired to create the same thing, and if you could tell them anything over the course of like your 2-year journey through the Cosmos stuff, as well as the back rooms, like what would you tell them, like as far as like how to get started, what to do, what would be the easiest route for them to get into this form of creative expression?
If anything, practice, learn, and have a complete passion. Like this is all passion. This is like just the pure love of creating worlds. Just keep at it. That's how it works for me. The every day just looking forward to creating new worlds and new stories to come up with. Rather it be by music or by an image or a book. Just keep at it and try your best. And if it's not your best, then keep going.
Yeah.
Everyone has to start somewhere,
Yeah. And that's
but never give up. That's the whole
never
gist
give
of it.
up. Yeah.
Don't
Just
give up.
keep it up.
As cliche, yeah, as cliche as it sounds, it actually works. Just don't give up on what you're doing. Just keep going. Who knows? Maybe you'll make it somehow, anywhere. And like,
And you may make it in a way that you don't expect.
correct.
Like, when I started doing more YouTube and I, started doing reactions and stuff like that, all of a sudden, like I ended up in Japan, and it has no correlation. Like those two, doing stuff on YouTube obviously didn't get me to Japan, but what I experienced on YouTube through, the episodes and movies and games that I would cover, I was inspired to do other things that was from myself. And yeah, sure, it'll slow things down a little bit, but I I feel so much happier being able to offer things that are more from here and from my heart. I said here because I was actually pointing, but you guys can't see that because I'm not on camera. But but I was pointing towards my chest. Um, Things from here usually take more time, especially if you're very very passionate. And I'm not saying that I wasn't passionate about things before, but by no means. I was very passionate and have always been. But I feel like when you find that project, that thing that you want to do, uh, just go all in, and that's what you're doing with this series. And that I feel like that's definitely the best advice for anybody watching, that if you're wanting to create something, put everything of yourself into that and reject the sense of rejection, like that fear of rejection. Reject it.
Yes.
Reject your fear of rejection, because again, you're always going to encounter people who won't like your stuff, but then the vast majority of people who do like your stuff will really enjoy what you do because it comes from you. So be passionate, do your thing, and never give up. And even if it takes a lot longer to get those things done, just do them. you know it's it's your creation, and nobody else is creating it but you. So it's up to you to make the thing that you want to make, because it's your thing, plain and simple. So
Yes.
um
Very well said.
yeah.
Very well.
Yeah, so yeah, that's awesome advice. And again, it's as cliche as it could possibly sound. Never give up. Keep doing the thing, and practice what you preach, man. I know sometimes it could be really hard out there, especially if you're juggling, school and everything. By the way, like,
Hmm.
that's awesome that you were able to create everything with everything that you had going. You had work, you had school, you had life in general, um,
Yes.
and just creating this world for us. It's a huge undertaking. So, that's pretty badass that you were able to, get the series where it's at right now, even with everything that you're having to balance. That balance game is rough, is really rough. Um,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I'm tired, bro.
But I love doing this. Like all of this, I just love doing, and I really can't wait for other episodes that I can just make. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm really itching to make a newer level. Because you know how I said I was making like a remaking every level.
Mhm.
There's a good chance there might be a city one.
Oh
Like that's
man,
on a city.
that's so good. Hell yeah. Oh my god, have you? I've been so obsessed with. I just get. I have this motto now.
Hmm.
It's getting lost on purpose, and getting lost on purpose for me is such a. It's the mantra. It's the way of life for me. Like, it'll be 11 o'clock at night, and I'll say, you know what? I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going to keep going in that direction. And the things that I find, and just in the city especially, is just going straight into like different parts of Tokyo and exploring. So, and doing it at that time of night, the last train is only like most last trains end at like 11:30 or 12. So after that, there's like hardly anybody walking around. It's
Ooh.
fantastic. And that might be a little hint as to, what I'm working on, but this place is fantastic and I love city exploration. If you're going to go down that route, man, that's going to be phenomenal and I'm super excited if you're going to do that. I'm not forcing you to. I'm not
No,
going
it
to
was
It's
part of
not like
it.
I'm going to like, ask you a whole bunch of times after this interview, can you please do this? But I can't wait for that.
Now there was a list of different kinds of levels that
Really?
I to do, but if I can remember, one of them is the city, like just like a very plain city, very similar to the suburbia one, but I don't know, it has the feeling of emptiness, but with colossal structures and the anomaly ideas for that level. I have so many, but because I'm slowly learning Unreal, it might take a while. Maybe it could be the part 15. Who knows? Wink, wink.
Hell yeah. Hell
But
yeah. Oh my
I,
god.
I all I know is that it was the city and then the grass room will come next. That's the order. But those two episodes, I don't know when I'll make it. All I
Okay.
know is that the next one will be part two Neon Springs with a different name,
Uh-huh.
and the city one and then the grass room corridors are, and every other level it will be in my schedule so far in the distant future. But unique levels, that's all I can think of. Like the newest one being a city, and I'll come up with newer stuff down the line. Maybe a palace or a actual um abnormal palace. I don't know.
I
That's all I know for a
I
future
can't wait.
project.
Maybe you can throw in an abandoned aquarium.
Yeah, that could too be
That's
a
that would be
good idea.
super neat.
Yeah, it
Um
fits with the video, so I might just snag that
I
idea for
I
next
don't,
video.
dude, anything is possible, especially because you're
Yeah,
dealing with the hyperverse. So like you've got so many things that are possible here, and I can't wait. It's gonna be a blast, and I'm so happy that you're still doing it and you're actively working on it. I know a lot of people when they see gaps in content, people are like, oh,
yeah,
they're not doing that. No, these things take time,
true,
and
true.
that goes back to do what you got to do, be passionate about it, upload it when it's ready, and that's it. That's all you can do. And that's the best thing you can do for your mental health, I think. When it comes to, as a creator, that's the best thing we can do for ourselves, because we already battle enough with not letting analytics and things like that get to our heads and things like that. But it shouldn't be, that shouldn't be the game for you. The game should 100% be making your art.
Exactly.
It's tough for a lot of people, nowadays, as an artist. You're not only an artist, but you're a social media manager, you're a community manager, you're a financial advice, like you're all these things wrapped into one. And like before, it used to just be like just making art and things like that.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's so ingrained into society to be all these things wrapped into one person. It's tiresome sometimes. And if you do want to make a small business out of it, you got to be like that. But also your business should also be being passionate about what you do.
Correct.
But Michael, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out and talk. I really enjoyed this interview. I would love to do another one, maybe several months from now. I would really love to pick your brain and maybe get into some other conversations, not just about your series, but just about anything else out there, that we really enjoy. Liminal spaces. I feel like our back and forth is a good one. So hopefully we'll be able to talk again, man.
Same. It was a very enjoyable conversation, and I can't wait for the next one.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely. It was great having you. And folks, if you haven't checked out Michael's channel, which is Lost in the Hyperverse, please do so, especially if you're a fan of the Backrooms in general. You will not be disappointed at all. They've got some great episodes out here, and you've got a lot to cover. If you haven't watched their stuff, their episodes are like 11 minutes to even like an hour. They're pretty chunky. So get your snacks and you're in for a ride. I placed a link in the description below for you folks to go ahead and go to their channel, check them out, please. Again, Michael, thank you so much for your time. I hope to see you again sometime soon, man.
Same.
You take care, bud.
Okay, thank you. You too.